Hey, everybody. Everybody come on in the building. Shout out to everybody coming in. I truly appreciate all of you. We are live. We are live finally. I had so much I had to do this morning, and I've got a neighbor that's working on their yard or doing something outside. And if you guys can hear that, that's what that is. So shout out to the neighbor. But yeah, they're doing some yard work. And so that's what we're kind of hearing in the background, if that's what you guys hear. But we are going to have a fire show today. I'm going to be talking about all different types of topics. I've got everything from Chuck D selling his catalog all the way to Tasha K versus Cardi B, Nicki versus Nosey, and then all kinds of stuff. And then we've even got some stuff with Umar, okay? And I'm going to be dropping the link for that so that we can have a deeper discussion about facts and not opinions, okay? So let's get right into the show. Before I do, as always, I always want to play for you guys a nice little timer so that we can set the tone for the show. Make sure that you guys do hit that thumbs up button as you're coming in. Also, make sure that you are hitting the notification bell so that you know when I'm live, and so that also so that you can catch the replay if you're not able to watch. But I am going to go ahead and get started. So bear with me just a moment while I do that. Okay, so I have clearly been talking to y'all and I have been muted this whole time. I'm going to go ahead and start this shit over again. I do apologize to y'all. I hope y'all can hear me. I hope everybody can hear me. Now, put a 1 in the chat if you can, or if you're still here. I hope you are. But yes, I'm so sorry, guys. I have been muted for quite some time, and I apologize for that. So let me get into what we were talking about. I was actually talking about Chuck D, and I talked about how he had given up the rights to his music, okay, to reach music. But I'm not going to get back into that because I just said already enough on that. Right now, we're going to go ahead and get into this Nicki Minaj and Nosey Ho kerfuffle, okay, because I have been a fan of both of the ladies. I've watched Nosey for a long time, and I've also been a fan of Nicki Minaj for quite some time. The Nosey situation, I remember her from the All About the Tea with Monica and all of that. And I also remember her from Surviving the Petties, which was a series that she was doing on Nicki Minaj and her husband, Kenneth Petty, and their son, and also the alleged victim of Kenneth Petty, Jennifer Ho. Okay. Now, this is what I'm going to say about that. And before I get into that, I'm going to preference it with what is going on in case you guys don't know. So the Grammy-nominated rapper is seeking $75,000 in damages in a defamation lawsuit against Marley Green, who is also known as Nosey Ho. The blogger allegedly made outrageously defamatory comments about Minaj and her family, according to the suit filed Wednesday in a New York Supreme Court. Now, this is what I have to say about that, okay? Like I said, I have followed Nosey Ho for a long time. I've even done my own videos on even not only just on her, but also on things that she may have been talking about at the time. Okay, so I'm very familiar with Nosey, and I'm also, like I said, very familiar with a lot of things that she discusses. And I remember particularly her talking about the Petties and talking about Nicki Minaj. I have not recently heard her talking about her because I don't really watch Nosey as much as I used to. Every so often I hop in to Nosey's chat, but I don't really go there as much as I used to go. So just because of the whole thing around her. But either way, I did not recently hear her talking about Nicki, but I did see a video. And shout out to TMZ because they actually played a video of Nosey specifically saying some very defamatory things. Now, one of the things that I say on this channel is we stick to facts around here. We don't go off of emotions. We don't go off of opinions or any of that. If I can prove something, then it is what it is. You understand what I'm saying? Whether I've seen it in writing or if I've seen it with my actual eyes, then yes, if I can prove it as a fact, then I will go ahead and report on it, okay? Which is kind of the issue here and kind of what we'll get into when it comes to both Nosey and Tasha K, okay? And any other content creator for that matter. But at the end of the day, I have witnessed Nosey saying specific things about Nicki Minaj that could be deemed as opinions, okay? Such as she said things about her son, okay? She said things that are factual according to, well, I'll say this. She said opinionated things about Nicki's husband, okay? She definitely said some opinionated things about Nicki's son, okay? And she has said some opinionated things about Nicki herself. However, and like I said, shout out to TMZ because I did see a video on TMZ where Nosey Ho was specifically saying that, and this is from Nosey, that Nicki Minaj is using coke. Then she went into allegedly, and then she said fact. And she continued to say and double down on that Nicki was using coke, okay? So that's when Nicki took to Twitter, got in on Instagram. She went ham on Marley Green, okay? Went all the way in on her. All the barbs came in. They all in there talking, all saying what they said. And long and behold, guess who shows up to the party? Cardi B shows up in the chat section, okay? And then she goes in on the whole situation, like how y'all ain't got no problem with her suing somebody. And when I went to sue somebody, that wasn't a problem. That was a problem. And this and this and this. And then after that, Tasha K hops into the chat, okay? And now they all going back and forth in the chat. After that, Tasha went live and went in on Cardi B. But we're going to talk about that in a second. That's a separate conversation. And then I'll probably drop the link for the Umar part of it, and then I'm going to end the show. But either way, that part right there, where they were all kind of just jumping back and forth and going in, Nicki calls out Cardi. Nicki goes and calls out Tasha K in support of her. And then Cardi's talking trash in support of, like, no, it's just crazy what's going on, okay? But ultimately speaking, the whole thing boils down to, what do you report on? Do you report on opinions, right? Which I think is okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with giving your opinion, and I certainly don't think there's anything wrong with freedom of speech. We have the right to speak as long as we're speaking facts, or we have the right to speak on things as long as it's an opinion, and we present it as an opinion, okay? Now, when you start presenting things as fact, that is where the gray area comes in, okay? Because that's kind of what happened in the Tasha and Cardi situation, which, again, I'll get into in a second. But in this situation, Nosey was presenting Nicki Minaj as a cokehead, as a fact, okay? Like as if she physically watched this woman snort coke up her nose. And clearly she hasn't done that, okay? So it makes it becomes very gray, okay? When you start presenting evidence of someone as a fact, okay? When there's no real evidence of such, or you haven't actually seen the evidence of such, okay? Now, if she saw the evidence, or if she said something like, I believe she's a cokehead, or allegedly she's a cokehead, and left it at that, then that would be different. But that is not what she said. She presented her as a cokehead as a fact. And Nosey, you wrong for that. You're wrong for that. As much as I like you, I think you cool. I like a lot of your content. I really do. As long as you are presenting things that have not been proven to be fact as actual fact, that is when you set yourself up for, litigation. And unfortunately, y'all, Nosey has collected a hell of a fucking bag out here, whether it be from YouTube, whether it be in the sex industry, whether it be all kinds of stuff. She does collect the fucking bag. And so now that bag is in question, just based off of what she's going through with a celebrity. If you don't like celebrities, you have the right to do that. You have the right not to fuck with the Barbs. You have the right not to fuck with Cardi B, all of that shit. But you got to present the things that you're saying about these ladies as factual evidence. You can't just say what you want and do what you want and expect the world, to just agree or go along with whatever you're saying, which is exactly what Cardi B and Tasha K are going through. So they had their little kerfuffle in the chat along with Nicki and with Nosey yesterday, and with Nosey the other day. And the issue was Tasha, like I have to say this, and I hate to say it like this, but I gotta say this. I really feel like Tasha became unhinged, and I feel like that she went in and she didn't think about what she was saying before she said it. She didn't think about what she was doing before she did it. At the bottom line is this. You owe this woman $3.5 million or $4 million. I don't know exactly the number right now, but you owe this woman some money, okay? That is the bottom line. Whether you go and you appeal it or any of that shit, okay? From what I understand, you've already attempted to appeal it, and that was denied. But let's see what happens from here. You go on and you continue to appeal, and you do your thing or whatever. But that video that you made yesterday, that 22-minute long video that you made yesterday to address Cardi B over her looks and over, who looks better, and, you trying to tell her that she hasn't accomplished shit and she hasn't done this and she hasn't done that. Like, when are we going to grow the fuck up out here? Like when? I get it, okay? But this has been going on for an extended period of time, Tasha, okay? And the bottom line is a judge found you guilty, okay? A judge found you liable and found you wrong, okay? So whatever, like you're going to have to shut your mouth at some point. Eventually, you're going to have to say, you know what? I'm going to leave this alone. You're already acting like you moved to Africa, even though, shout out to Sean Davy Way, he said you moved to Florida, okay? Allegedly, all right? But yeah, you're already acting like you moved to Africa, and you're just doing the most, Tasha, okay? And at the end of the day, you were lying on that woman. You were lying on her. You made up stories about Cardi B, and that is why you lost in court, okay? You not only did you make up the stories, but you were even given multiple opportunities to clean up the stories. And you still did not do that. Okay? You still decided you were going to keep doubling down on the fuck shit with what you were saying about Cardi. You said that she had herpes and this and this and this. And when she proved to that judge that she does not have herpes, you owed her some money. And that's kind of what's going to end up, well, I believe is going to end up happening with Nosey. Because like I said, Nosey been talking about Nicki Minaj for a long time, at least 2 years. Okay, she's been talking about her for a long fucking time. Okay, and Nicki is just getting in on this now. The reason why is because you finally said something about her and presented it as a fact. That's the reason. That's why you're getting sued now, Nosey. Because you went in and you presented this situation as a fact. And it is not a fact. It is an opinion. Okay? So that should be a lesson for any YouTubers out here. Any of us. Me, all of us included. Especially out in the tea sector. When we be out here giving that tea and dropping that tea and stuff. Something Nosey's a part of. And other, content creators are a part of. Tasha K is the top of the tea sector. So, yeah, we got to be factual about the things that we say. Even if you have an opinion about something or someone, you can say, yeah, this is my opinion about it. You know what I'm saying? But if you got facts on it, then say it's a fact, okay? But don't say something's a fact if you can't really prove that. And then it turns out that they turn around and sue your ass because what you were saying was a fucking lie, okay? Or what you were saying was your opinion and you didn't present it as an opinion, okay? So anyway, hopefully these ladies will get their shit together and, go ahead and handle that. But I don't know what else to say. Speaking of facts versus public opinion, okay? Now, we had talked about Umar the other day. We talked about the HVAC. There was multiple conversations in regards to how the HVAC was obtained, whether it was obtained, whether it was laid on the ground, all these kind of simple little opinions about it, okay, as opposed to facts. And then we did go over actual facts, okay? So I'm going to present another fact today. And shout out to KKC because he did a video yesterday on this, okay? I'm going to present another fact today that I would like everybody to take with them and to think about. And again, I'm going to put a link to KKC's video. I'm not going to play it or anything. I'm going to put a link to that video in my description box so that you guys can go over and check that out. But KKC was able to pull up facts, okay? Now, he gave some opinions. Others in the comment section were giving opinions and different things like that. That's fine. You're welcome to and entitled to any opinion that you wish to have about Umar Johnson, okay? But I am trying to stick to the facts, okay? And stick to the full facts so that we can fully get a full understanding of what we're facing, okay? Now, we can go back and forth over whether this is really an HVAC, even if this picture is Photoshopped, all kinds of stuff. We can go back to whether or not this HVAC that's on this truck was actually the HVAC that's on this building. We can go back and forth over all of these things. But one fact was presented yesterday. And the fact is that Umar had this block party on Saturday, September the 10th, right? We all know that that is a fact. We also know that the day before, according to Umar, he had the HVAC installed, right? That would have been September 9th, okay? So if you go into the website, which is also a fact, okay, and I'm going to put a link to the website, and the Wilmington website, where you can go and look at people's, if they owe taxes on a business, who owns the business, if there's being work done on that business, and if there's been permits pulled and so forth. I'm going to put a link to that in my description box so you guys can take a look for yourself. I'm not going to present this. I'm not going to show or anything, even though KKC did that yesterday, which I thought was great, because if he hadn't, I wouldn't have seen it myself. Okay. But what I'm going to put that in there, and I'm going to tell you guys another fact. And then we're actually going to end the show because I got some other things I got to do. I wanted to drop the link, but I'm not going to be able to do that. I just don't have time. So the fact is, there have been no permits pulled for this HVAC to be installed. There just isn't. Now, if somebody can go and counteract that as a fact and say that it is a fact that there are permits and that permits were pulled for this HVAC, not the HVAC to be removed, okay? Because there doesn't need to be a permit for the HVAC to be removed, but there does need to be a permit for this HVAC to be installed, okay? So where is the permit on the website for this date or any date even around that where this HVAC is installed? Now, for those of you who will say that you don't necessarily need to have a permit to install an HVAC, I'd like you to go back to my old videos where we spoke with an HVAC supplier, we spoke with an HVAC technician who was able to confirm what you need in order to install an HVAC. So again, we are presenting facts, right? We're not presenting emotions. We're not presenting opinions. We're not presenting what we want for Umar, what we like for Umar to do. We're not permitting, we're not presenting, we're just going to cover things. We're not presenting any of that. We are just presenting facts, okay? Because whether or not people have donated or not, this man is the one throwing this in everybody's face, okay? This man is the one going live and tossing this in the face of the people. So are we supposed to just sit back and say nothing? Or are we supposed to be quiet and not say anything for the sake of not hurting this man's feelings or hurting his, supporters' feelings, okay? Or are we as adults supposed to question everything and ask questions about everything? Because the bottom line is, in the state of Delaware, okay, and that's any town, any part of Delaware where I live, where Wilmington is, where everywhere is, for you to do any kind of work, and I'm pretty sure this is across the board in the U.S., but for you to do any type of work like that, you have to have special permits to do so, okay? The city has to be aware of that work. They have to know about it. They want to know a cost, how much it's going to cost, everything. And all of that would be listed on the actual permit. Now, we can go into semantics where you're saying, hey, a technician might pull the permit after they get the HVAC and all that other stuff. That might be very true. Just like, and shout out to the Speakeasy, just like he said the other day, which I actually agreed with on my show, that, yeah, just because you take an HVAC off the ceiling and you put it on the ground, I don't know if that, even if it is quote unquote industry standard, I can't say that is, a definite reason for why this did not happen. Okay. Absolutely, they can take an HVAC off and put it on the ground until they put it on a truck to transport it. You see what I'm saying? Like that is kind of just, yeah, that's irrelevant. But the bottom line is, when it comes to this situation, there's clearly some issues going on here. Okay. Because nobody is going to be able to do any type of work of such, no type of construction work of such, without having the proper permit in place. Now, one other thing I could say about that. Is it possible that he purchased? Now, removing the HVAC definitely was done. But is it possible that they purchased the HVAC and have not received the permit yet? Yes, I think that is possible. But then I would question Umar on that, and I would also question the tech, because I'd wonder why you would be willing to waste your money on purchasing an HVAC, okay? Having this HVAC on a truck or on a pallet or wherever it is, and waiting for the permits to be approved, because those permits have to be approved. What if they're denied? Now you got this HVAC, you got all this stuff, and you can't even, and you got to take it back because it's not like you can store it somewhere, okay? So how much sense does it make for a qualified technician? Okay, let's think about this from professional points of view, from qualified technicians, okay? How much sense would it make for a qualified technician to go and buy an HVAC, okay, and just have an HVAC and sitting around waiting for the permits to be pulled? Wouldn't you think that the permits would be pulled first? I mean, I'm only presenting this part as an opinion, okay? But wouldn't you think that the permits would get pulled first and then they would go and purchase the HVAC? Because then and only then is when they would be able to replace it, okay? Now, which also presents an additional problem, okay? Now, we all know that the old HVAC was removed, right? We are all aware of that. We know that HVAC was removed. So that would have left a huge gaping hole in that ceiling, okay? That would have left a large hole in there, which could have brought animals in, could bring, water, rain damage. It done rained several times since then in Delaware. You know what I'm saying? So it would have brought rain damage, all kinds of stuff in. So clearly, without a permit, there was no HVAC installed, okay? So what happened to that ceiling? Is it still like that? Did they put that old HVAC back up there? Like, what happened to cover that hole? Or did they cover it with tarp? What is going on here? Because we know that an HVAC was not installed by fact because there is no permit. Now, you do the math yourself. You look it up yourself. Arguing back and forth with me or KKC or anybody else is irrelevant because the facts are there. I don't have to argue back and forth and go back and forth and talk about this and talk about that and who's this and who's not black and whose black card needs to be replaced. I don't need to do any of that shit because the facts are there's no permit. That's just what it is. Now, like I said, he does not need a permit to remove the old HVAC, but he definitely needed a permit to put the new HVAC in. So I don't know what to say other than something ain't right in the fucking milk, okay? Something don't smell right in the milk. And that's what it is. But shout out to y'all. Like I said, guys, I do got to get out of here. I'm going to give you guys a quick shout out real quick. You said, okay, is the HVAC real? I don't know. But all I can say is when you go into the website and you look into whether there were permits pulled, there was no permits pulled. Y'all do it yourself. And like I said, I'm going to put a link to it in the description box. Hey, Dr. Nicki, I appreciate you being in the building. Shout out to you. You said Grand Rising T Prizzle. What's happening, baby? Knowledge TV, what's up? You said it's all smoking and mirrors. Can't trust shit with Umar. And that's facts. It looks like smoke and mirrors. Like, I don't want to call him a scammer, but I'm having a hard time because, like I said, something is wrong when you pull the facts, right? When you stop pulling up the emotions and the feelings and the wants and you pull up the facts, this is what you're presented with. So I'm having a very hard time with that too. I'm having a very, very hard time with that. You said hey to mom, and you said hey to Pixie. Hey, Pixie, I appreciate you. Stefan, hey, Stefan, I appreciate you being in the building. Shout out to you. That was a hell of a funeral yesterday. I think there's another one going on, I think tonight with DJ Drama. I was going to do a Shakim funeral too, but I ain't going to do that shit. I did one already like a year ago. And it's funny because it's funny how those times come back, because this nigga, the same banner that I used a year ago, people are using now. The same thumbnail that I used on Shakim being deleted, people are using that same thumbnail now on his ass. So I don't even have to really say much about that. It's a damn shame. It's all I can say. But yeah, I do want to address Carrie Ann real quick because I did hear her bullshit last night. And the only reason I went over there is because I got a couple of friends in this sector who have been trying to get me to see things a certain way with this stupid bitch. Okay. Y'all know who y'all are, and shout out to y'all. But I'm just going to say this about this stupid bitch. Okay. Because I'm really fucking sick of her. Always thinks she's supposed to just be saying whatever the fuck she want, and she not going to get cussed the fuck out. Like I fucking told you before, a couple weeks ago, okay? Before you finally started taking your medication and started going to your fucking doctor again, okay? Like I fucking told you, you don't get the right to say what the fuck you want to say to me, and I just sit back and don't say shit to you, okay? That's not how the fuck this shit works, okay? Ain't shit pussy about me cussing you the fuck out and telling you about your motherfucking self after you've been going around subtly talking shit and saying this and saying that and doing whatever the fuck you want. And then when I clap back at your ass, now you the fucking victim? Bitch, be the motherfucking victim then. I don't give a fuck. But everything you fucking said about Shakim last night, I've already been said to him over a year ago. So I'm waiting for him to fucking drag your motherfucking ass now, because that's what he's going to do. Like, I don't know what makes you think you're different than any other woman in this sector. Every single woman in this sector has tried to be reasonable and reason with Shakim. Every single one of us have. From me to everybody else. So now I'm just waiting for him to drag you, since you think you better than every fucking body else, and you think you could just say whatever you want, and you doing it out of love, like we all fucking did. No, bitch, you were just talking shit like you always fucking do. You're always throwing shade. And when a nigga throws a tree at your motherfucking ass, you act like a fucking victim. So, okay, bitch, be the fucking victim. I don't give a fuck. You're still thinking about me? You're still thinking about me cussing you the fuck out 3 or 4 weeks ago? Well, bitch, fuck you. Now I just cussed you out again today. And you still haven't presented the motherfucking receipts of me being a fucking liar. You still haven't presented that. So when you do that is when I'll address you again. But other than that, bitch, you just talking to yourself. All right, y'all. I'm going to get out of here. I really appreciate y'all for being in the building. Shout out to y'all for always coming in. And yes, he is deleted. Yeah, you know what? I can drop the link for you real quick, but I do got to go. I actually got some stuff I got to do. Maybe we can do it later, Eric Butler. But yeah, I really appreciate you coming in. I know you had some more expertise you wanted to bring to the conversation. But I wanted to bring, it wasn't just you. I wanted to get into this conversation. There's a couple of HVAC techs in the sector as well that I wanted to bring into the conversation. Shout out to Nova Real Show. I definitely wanted to get into that with him as well. And also to Speak Easy. He had a lot of great information on this. I know he's not a technician, but he's trained in it. So either way, we're going to have this conversation again. But the bottom line is, guys, there's no permits up in place. There's just no permits in place, and that cannot be denied. That cannot be denied. So I'm not quite sure, why people are still having this argument in regards to this matter. But the bottom line is that cannot be denied, that there are no permits that were in place that a technician would have had to pull in order for that to be installed, period. So y'all do what y'all do. But I'm going to holler at y'all later. You said shout out to Judy King and Andrew Caldwell. Shout out to them two niggas, man, because them niggas wasn't playing. But anyway, y'all, I appreciate y'all again, and I will talk to y'all later. Peace, guys. Yeah, we the employed sector over here. We got shit we got to fucking do. All right, y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace, guys. Let's make a home. We make a home. I don't want to go everywhere. With me.